call today's meeting of the Rules and Open Government Committee to order at 2 o'clock. Let's start with roll call, please.
Candelas.
Here.
Duan, absent. Foley.
Here.
Kamei, absent. Cohen.
Here.
We have quorum.
Thank you. Our first item is to review the agenda for Tuesday, June 10th, council meeting. We start with 9:30 closed session, a regular session called for 11 a.m. with an evening session at 6 o'clock. And consent starts on page 5. And continues on pages 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, page 11, page 12, page 13, page 14, page 15, page 16, and continues on page 17. All right, so now we have some proposed renumberings of items 3.3, well, and I guess they're relisted later in the agenda, right? So, or they're not listed yet. Oh, they are listed separately. So we're starting with item of 3.5, which will be the first item in section 3, the tax-exempt multifamily housing revenue notes. 3.7 is the proposed changes to the Measure E allocation, along with 3.8, the June budget message, to those two to be heard concurrently and not before 1:30 p.m. 3.9, fees and charges, also not to be heard before 1:30 p.m. And then we have the items that were renumbered: 3.10, amendments to the municipal code; 3.11, code of conduct for encampments; 3.12, pay for performance. And then, I guess, two items that are being moved to consent, 5.1 and 5.2. We have our redevelopment successor agency public hearing. That one will be heard immediately after consent. And then we have 3 items of land use that are noticed to not, the first one, land use consent, has one item noticed to be heard not before 1:30, but items 10.2 and 10.3 on regular land use consent to be heard not before 6 p.m. in the evening session. All right, let's start with public comment before we...
Lindy, please go ahead and
sense of
make
all
your way
this.
to the podium. You have 2 minutes to speak.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Lindy Hayes. I'm with Concerned Corey Neighbors. I think you might have heard of us by now. Maybe you got a few messages. I'm here to request that the matter of 826 North Winchester on the June 10th, 6 o'clock p.m. calendar be moved to the first slot. And the reason I'm asking this is we have a large number of seniors, we have a large number of school-age children, we have a large number of working-age parents that plan on coming. It's of great interest to the neighborhood. 2 of our volunteers have handed out a total of 550 flyers. One of our volunteers is handing out her own flyer offering free cupcakes to any child under the age of 18 who comes and watches Democracy in Action. I cannot ask everyone to wait until 10 or 11 o'clock, and that is why I'm making the request that we be first. We have seniors, we have children, we have working age parents. Did you have a question, ma'am?
Thank you. We will discuss the comments we hear when we come back to the committee, but we're not going to engage back and forth now. But thank you.
That was my bid. We'd like to be first. And if you can't put us first, at least start us before 7 o'clock. Thank you.
Back to the committee.
All right, thank you. I think we have a lot of scheduling things to discuss about this meeting, but I will first ask the question. Certainly, if we're discussing the budget and it runs beyond the afternoon session and past 6 o'clock, there's the question as to whether we would want to interrupt that before going, and then go to land use and come back. That would be the question. My preference maybe is that we, since the land use items are noticed for 6 o'clock, that we try to specify that these be time certain 6, and we take a break from the rest of the agenda and do, but I don't know. I mean, is that something we can do, Lee? Is try to put land use items at 6 and postpone the rest of the meeting and then come back to the rest of the agenda?
I believe so. I think you would mark it in the agenda for those land use items to be time certain at 6 o'clock. So if we had another public hearing open, we would pause that and come back to it after the time certain issues.
Okay, I just want to be cautious that we're not, or notify the member of the public who raised this, that if we do go time certain, if we are in the middle of a budget discussion, we're not going to stop the budget discussion in order to conduct the hearing on the Winchester matter at 6 o'clock. We will continue the discussion, right? We may not reach code of conduct or some of the other really heavy issues, but so I just want to be clear about, I'm fine with the 6 o'clock time certain. I'm very concerned about moving Winchester to the beginning of the agenda because the agenda is so big and impacted with huge issues. Winchester's one of them, but the budget has several pieces that go with it, and we need to have those discussions as close together as possible. So I appreciate the concerns of the community and the people in attendance, but this is our biggest city council meeting on June 10th, and it's really hard to accommodate everything in the exact times that people would like them to be accommodated. But I have another question about the agenda, unless you want to talk about that particular issue. Okay, go ahead.
I mean, then this question is for administration, knowing, I completely agree that we have the budget, we have several major policies that should have a lot of conversation, not just from community members, but between us.
Right.
I'm curious to see if maybe these 2 items, maybe it would be worth, because we have such a front-loaded agenda and uncertainty around timing, would it be worth, we have another meeting the following week, would it be worth not moving or maybe deferring these 2 items for a week, lightening the agenda? I just took a brief look at the following week. I'm curious which Leland,
Which 2 items?
I don't believe legally we can reschedule the land use items because of public noticing requirements.
Got it.
They've been publicly noticed for this day after 6 p.m. So they can't be earlier than 6 p.m. And they can't be a different day. Those are the 2 things that we're stuck with. Now, when they occur after 6 p.m. is the discussion that we can have, I think, amongst ourselves.
Well, that makes sense because I know there's some of my residents who want to hear 6.1 or 10.2 on that agenda, and I'm sure there's going to be people mobilized as well. So, but they did get postcards saying that this meeting would happen on this date. So I guess, those are just my initial thoughts. But Vice Mayor, if you want to continue your questioning,
Oh, thanks. This is going to be a long meeting, no matter what we do or where we position things. My question is about the ceremonials. We've traditionally, when we start early, we wait for the ceremonials until 1:30, and frankly, the ceremonials ran almost an hour yesterday. So that means we didn't really get started on our regular agenda until about 2:30. So 2 things. One, is it possible to move our ceremonials to 11 and dispense with those so that when we do begin the meeting after our lunch break, that we start into the meat of the matter immediately? What is involved in that?
Can I ask Stephen from the mayor's office to come down?
The one thing is I would say that the invocation, which is being held by a youth chorus, probably can't be moved in terms of although that may
Oh,
be.
no, they're out of
Oh, they're
school.
I guess, I don't know whether they all are out of school. Some districts are still going next week, but you're right, it is late.
Stephen, has there been any communication or thought from the mayor's office, who manages the ceremonials, on behalf of the organization, just speaking to districts 6, 5, and 8, about any flexibility in time for those dates?
I can definitely speak to those districts. The main reason as to why we've kept it time certain even on early agendas is just because, you know, closed session we found in the past may end, you know, sometimes past 11, sometimes it's ended 12 or 12:30, so we've kept community members and folks doing ceremonials a little bit later than their available time, but I can certainly talk to the the council offices that do have ceremonials at that time to see their flexibility on that.
I guess the other question to ask, and I know we've had times when we are in here for these morning meetings that the mayor has said we're taking a break at 12 for lunch. I guess the question is this time, can we sort of say we're not taking that lunch break and we're going to keep going through that period? And I don't know whether, I mean, that's one of the other things that happens is we often take that like an hour and a half for lunch, and then I feel like we've wasted some time. So I don't know what the committee thinks about trying to, you know, have lunch here and power through a little bit more on Tuesday.
I am fine with that.
We don't know that I mean, obviously there's others involved here and that may, but I would hope people haven't scheduled noontime engagements for next Tuesday.
Well, this is perhaps, not perhaps, this is the most important meeting that our council makes a decision on. It's best that we make a decision when we're fresh and sharp, including the Winchester issue. You know, potentially in this budget, or in this day, we could be at the Corey neighborhood issue at 10 o'clock, theoretically, given what we have. So I am all for powering through lunch. I really would like to move the ceremonials up. I hear you, Stephen, but there's two things that can happen, or two things that I'd like to see happen. One, see if we can move them up to 11. Second is be really strict with the people who are presenting the ceremonials to stick to a 2 or 3 minute time limit, because when we go on 10 minutes on a ceremonial, we're truly 45 minutes in and we're done. And we've just started. We haven't even gotten to consent yet. So I want to be thoughtful. We're going to have a lot of residents here. I want to be respectful to them. I want to be respectful to my colleagues and my own brain cells and ability to last mentally in really a long, difficult discussion. So I'd love to see if we can move the ceremonials to 11 o'clock, or even, I hear your concern about closed session, 11:30, and then power through lunch and have lunch provided in the back.
Yeah, you know, I sorry to interject. I think that's fair, Vice Mayor, and you know, maybe perhaps, you know, because I know I'm one of the 3 ceremonials, and I'm going to try to see if our group would be willing to do that. I'm sure I have no problems. There is a logistics concern with regards to, especially if, you know, youth are involved with, like, they have to leave school early or what have you. But maybe an opportunity would be, you know, if we can't get to it, or if we can't, you know, move our ceremonial coordination to the 11 o'clock, maybe we can bump it to next week. And that's given how important, you know, to your point, how important next Tuesday's meeting is okay. Well, if we can't manage or coordinate with our group, maybe we can. I know it's historically we do 3 ceremonials, but hey, maybe we do 4 ceremonials next week, or 5 if we can't. Because I mean, I don't know if, you know, I'm giving a commendation to the Philippines, recognizing or declaring June Philippines Independence Month, and so I don't know. I guess that's just my thought. Would the administration or would the mayor's office be okay with that, given?
I will definitely bring that back to our office. And to your point, Vice Mayor Foley, I will also remind everyone, we do have the ceremonial policy guidelines telling folks to keep it within 5 minutes. And just as a reminder to everyone, I will send that out and let them know, due to the importance of this meeting and just in general being respectful of everyone's time.
And just to follow up on those lines of questioning, I see only one ceremonial listed on the 17th. Is that because they're not completely listed yet, or because there is only one?
Because they are not completely listed
Okay,
yet.
so I can't take advantage of that to move some from the 10th to the 17th?
I thought too.
Okay, we have a full house on the 17th also?
Yes.
Okay.
We cannot move the D91. We've got a 95-year-old man coming for the D91 next week. Not next week, the following
We'll be
week.
discussing whether that should be at 11:30 or 1:30.
You're right.
Okay.
Okay, so with that, I'm going to craft a motion. And that is that we adopt the agenda subject to these changes, that the ceremonials, where possible, be moved to 11:30 and the invocation be moved to the same time, barring availability of the students, and that we work through lunch. And I guess that's it.
Well, okay,
How are we doing the time?
we wanted,
And the time certain of Winchester of 6 o'clock, subject to wherever we are on the agenda. I mean, I truly don't want to be in the middle of a pay performance discussion and having it stop at, and we haven't finished it to start at 6 o'clock. So
So I
6
think what you're trying to say is.
not,
well,
So that the clerk's office and our office can be clear, I think, Vice Mayor, what you're saying is do time certain for 6 o'clock, but as opposed to suspending whatever public hearing we're in, if we are in one, let's say we're in budget, 6 o'clock comes around, we would finish budget, and then before we go to anything else on the agenda, like code of conduct for encampments or paper performance, if we hadn't finished those up, prior to 1:30, that we would go to Winchester first, is how you're trying to say it, correct?
yeah, I don't love it. I don't love it.
I know there's residents who are going to be mobilizing for, my district on item 10.2. So, and I don't know how many people are going to be around at 11 o'clock. So I don't know. It kind of puts the onus, like, we're going to stop, resume the item, and then go back to our agenda.
Yeah, I don't like that. I wouldn't consider that part of my motion. I hear the concerns, but there's going to be a lot of public comments here on all of our issues. And to pick and choose the one that should get preferential treatment at 6 o'clock is very difficult.
Correct.
So I think we just need to stay the course on the agenda, but hold those other timelines tighter, where we start at 11 and the ceremonials begin at 11:30, considering that we may run long on closed session.
Okay.
And the same thing with the invocation. And I'm hoping that Vivace's available because they're kids and they're out of school.
Yeah.
most of
And
them, although
we
Berryessa
will-
School District still has one more week, so that's what, so we'll see. But it is
Yeah.
the last week of school, so
Yeah.
they still probably can.
Yeah. Does that work?
Clerk's office, agenda services, do we have that? We're good?
I'm obviously a little uncomfortable still, because I do think this land use item, and both, I don't know enough about the other one to make comment, but both land use items are important, and I think deserve, especially since those are more likely to bring residents of a very specific area and a very specific topic, without knowing what time it's going to be, and saying anywhere from 6 to 11 p.m. is a very wide range. I know that's true about every item, but I would still be inclined to say, let's make land use the first thing we hear after 6 o'clock, once whatever was previously put on hold, whatever else was previously happening finishes, then do the two land use items, and then come back to the rest of the agenda. That would be my preference. I would also add a preference of, I'm looking at the agenda, if we can get through our consent, which the two consent items will take like 5 or 6 minutes, hopefully, and then maybe 10 if someone pulls something, right? And then we have the ceremonials, which up to half an hour. We're now at if we start at 11, we're now at 11:45, and we haven't really, and everything else is noticed. I guess we would jump ahead. We would do item 3.5 first, right? That one comes right after, and that would be in the morning, and then we would jump to items after the budget because they can be heard before 1:30? Is that the idea?
Like yeah.
I would make the recommendation that that, just based on what I'm hearing from the public and their requests, because we've also gotten requests, by the way, at least my office has gotten requests to make sure that the code of conduct and the municipal code items come later in the agenda because they don't want them too early because people want to be, so there's been requests in lots of ways, which we can't accommodate everything. My feeling is that we could put pay for performance ahead of the other two so that if there's time before lunch, we can get to it first because it may not be as long as code of conduct and the other one. That's my thinking. Get that through that because we're not going to get to the budget. We can't go to the budget till 1:30.
Yep.
So if we're at 12 o'clock and we're done with things, I don't want to have to take a break. And I don't know we can start the municipal code or code of conduct items at 12 o'clock and get through them in a reasonable time before budget starts at 1:30. But that would be my preference. It's to put paper performance at least ahead of 3.10, make that one 3.10, ahead of 11 and 12. So if time allows, we move that ahead of 1:30.
So we do consent, we do the other items, whatever we can
Land
move
use consent,
forward.
9.1,
And then
and-
before we get into the budget, we do pay for performance.
If time allows, before 1:30. If it gets to be 1:30, we'll go back to the order, right?
Okay.
Just that way.
It's
I'm
gonna
trying
be-
to move
That'll
things.
be confusing for the mayor to,
Well,
to-
we'll get it renumbered so that it's on the
Okay.
agenda appropriately, I assume,
Okay.
by that point. It'll be printed in the right order.
I think that's fine. I just want to be sensitive that we're going to have a lot of people of
Yes.
all ages here for all those items.
know.
That we cannot accommodate all of them, and I'd like to just advise you, if you're bringing a lot of people, please have them prepared to speak for 1 minute, and do not use the same talking points, because we don't need to hear 50 people say the exact same thing. Because, you know, I know you're passionate, but we're gonna be here a long time, and we wanna be thoughtful and respectful to what you're saying, but we also have people who are gonna come about the code of conduct regarding homelessness and the budget itself. There's gonna be a lot of people in this room. Right?
Yep, yes.
That is correct.
So it's always wise to try to get public comment as concise as possible
Right.
and as clear as possible, but everybody has the opportunity and the right to address the council.
Of course.
So, having said that, maybe from all that, now we can get a motion. I will just say, I've been very concerned as we've been leading up to this June 10th meeting about how it's going to look, about how seriously we can take every item, keeping it all on the agenda. One of the reasons why I hoped we would postpone some of these items till the fall, but here we are. So we're gonna all have to buckle down and be very
Okay, so
serious about it.
So I have a motion on the floor. How did you want it to be modified?
Well, we didn't have a second on it yet, that's why I started
No,
saying
he-
it. Oh, did you second it?
He's-
Okay. So the motion on the floor, the modification was to have the two land use items, 10.2 and 10.3, heard first after 6 o'clock, once the previous item has been wrapped up. I don't know how you word that, but in some way, it's the first item to be heard after 6, when it's time for another new item.
Yeah.
And then renumber pay for performance to 3.10 so that it could come earlier if there's time.
Yeah, with the understanding that
It may not.
we're not going to stop the budget discussion if we're in the
Yes.
middle of the budget discussion at 6
Or
o'clock.
any discussion, because we could be at
Right.
any one of these at 6
Right.
o'clock.
Right.
Right. So if we happen to be going fast and we're in paper performance, we'll finish that before we do land use. But if we're at code of conduct or whatever we are. So, okay. Anyway, sorry, this is way.
Oh,
this
if
is-
only that would happen.
We have to give ourselves some hope.
We do.
All right. I think that all clear as mud?
Yeah, we're still meeting Tuesday? I think so. Clerk's office, agenda services, we believe we have that. And then if we can make sure we coordinate with Stephen in the mayor's office, the mayor will need some pretty detailed annotated agenda notes to pull all of this off.
And then one other thing, we should notify our council that we're going to be working through lunch and plan accordingly. And
Yeah, I'll ask the
please
clerk's
make sure that
office
lunch
to-
is provided and dinner in the back, because we're going to be working
Working through
long.
dinner too, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
May I ask one question? Rochelle here.
Oh, yeah.
The ad sheet, is that
Oh, yes.
included?
Oh,
Yep.
yeah, include the ad sheet. Forgot all about that. Thank you.
All right. Oh, there's a 3.7 on the ad sheet too, but I guess that's a concurrent item as well. Okay. There we go. We've got, I think, the makings of a meeting next week. Let's vote on that agenda. All right. We'll see how it goes. Thank you for being here and advocating. We hope that we can manage your item at a reasonable time next Tuesday. Yeah. Yes, thank you. Okay, now we are going to do our first review of the June 17th council meeting, which similarly is being recommended for an 11 a.m. regular session start time after the 9:30 closed session. We can decide next week, well, I mean, I guess we can discuss today about whether we want to try to get those ceremonials moved forward as well, but we'll get to that when we do. Right now, they're listed for 1:30. We have consent starting on page 2, continuing on pages 3. Well, they all say page 2 at the bottom of my agenda, but
Yeah, they do.
it continues through item 2. Ooh, this is a long one. There's lots of page 2s. Okay, page up to item 2.44. And then we have section 3. We have our adoption of annual appropriation ordinance. That will be heard before consent. And then the general obligation bond to be heard with the finance authority item, which is later on the agenda. And then we have multifamily housing revenue notes for 525 North Capitol, public hearing on liens for sidewalk repair, not to be heard before 1:30. The IPA year-end report, public hearing on Japantown bid, not before 1:30. Same thing with the downtown bid, not before 1:30, and the Monterey corridor bid. Oh, and also a Tully Road bid as well, 8.4. And 8.5, we have the successor agency for redevelopment agency related to Alameda Community Benefit, also another bid, C bid. And then 8.6, major event zone ordinance. 8.7, large format digital electronic signs. 8.8, grant agreements for navigation hub. Multifamily housing incentive for 358 Hatton Street, another one for Zero Sealy. And then we have one item of land use consent as well, which I suppose will be heard immediately after regular consent. Do we have any public comment on this agenda?
No public comment.
All right, another confusing and long agenda. Any early comments we want to provide?
I would like to include the financing authority.
Oh,
There's,
is that a separate,
it's a separate agenda.
where's that one listed?
It's the last.
Oh, it's at the very, I forget to flip past land use, okay. So yes, there's the financing authority item, which will be heard immediately after consent, along with item 3.5. That's on the last page 2 on the agenda.
Okay.
And then we have, I would say, again, for Stephen, see if we can work out, try to just do the meeting as if it starts at 11 with all of the invocation and ceremonials at the beginning, so we can just move in order and stay on track. That's the only, any other input before we have a motion? All right, a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second, and that motion carries 3-0. Thank you. We're on to our consent calendar. We have 5 items on consent today. It looks like we have no public comment.
No public comment.
So we have a motion for consent.
Move approval?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Let's vote. Motion carries 3-0, and we're on to open forum. No public comment. Meeting's adjourned at 2:30. Thank you.